Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Smokin.
Oh, that is right. It is Kneecap Biting with Smokin' Jeremy B. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to ask everybody that we remain silent for the next 30 to 40 seconds and say a silent prayer for Damar Hamlin, his family, and the Bills Mafia. Oh, all right. So, since Monday, the last update on Damar Hamlin was yesterday. His oxygen levels had been lowered from 100% to 50% on the ventilator. His vitals were still stable. Please keep praying for this young man. Let's hope he pulls through this. We won't know anything until they pull him out of his medically induced coma tomorrow night, is when they do the first attempt to wake him up. It was a very, very somber moment Monday night. I was trying to do my Lions post-game show when everything happened, and as soon as I found out they were doing CPR on him, I kind of lost it. Keegan Eckert says, "Hey guys." Ben Smith puts up the prayers, says, "Sup guys." And James Burgess says, "At least there's some positive news on the young man." Absolutely. That being said, look what happened. QB Justin Fields to miss this Sunday's game due to the injury suffered in the game versus the Lions. They beat the shit out of him. He was sacked 7 times, hurried on quite a few other plays, beat up on the sideline, trying to get to the sidelines and did not get it. We hit him 10 ways west of Sunday. Ken Ballrick comes in and says, "Hey guys, well, what do you think about that news on Justin Fields?" Will?
It comes with the quarterback position, especially when you're a running quarterback. You're going to get hit one way or another. It may not be the prettiest hit, it may not be the hardest hit, but you do get beat up a bit. Some of the best, it's happened to the best. Justin Fields doesn't have a real good O-line or much weapons around him. His probably best weapon, in my opinion, is David Montgomery. But he is not an offensive lineman. He does not protect him, only probably on passes where he needs protection. And guess what? It comes with against a really good defense that has Aiden Hutchinson and a bunch of other hard hitters like James Houston. Yeah, like, I'm not surprised he's missing this game.
Yep. Shannon?
Yeah, most of the running quarterbacks end up having to develop to stay in the pocket a little longer over the years. I mean, I can think of one, Steve McNair, that played for the Titans. I mean, Cunningham, you look at him back with the Vikings, he didn't run that much. I mean, as you get older, you can't just take the beating that these running quarterbacks have. I mean, you can run maybe your first. I mean, Vince Young, he got Rookie of the Year, and then after that, what happened to him? I mean, you just, unless you're a freak like a Michael Vick or something like that. I mean, Lamar Jackson's, but I mean, you look, he's getting beat up now, and that's why he's missing the last, 2-3 years. He's been out the last half of the season.
Who? Fields?
I'm not Fields, but Jackson. Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson. Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it ends up taking a toll on you. But anyway.
All right. Well, I got a couple comments to address here real quick. My cousin Mike Clamert comes in, says, "What's up?" And he goes, "Yes, they did." James Burgess says Chicago is trying to keep his Carfax score from going too low. +1 to James. And Valerie Bordeaux, it's a strained hip and no reason for him to play. Calm down, Jeremy.
No reason to
You're
play.
right. It is absolutely in his best interest for Chicago to sit him.
Because they're not fighting for anything.
My cousin, because he's old school like me, says he needs to put his purse down.
They're not.
And Steve Bowers, and Steve Bowers says when he couldn't run anymore, he was toast.
Yes.
He's also an Ohio QB. If I recall, none have made it. There was a guy back in the 50s that was pretty good for a small smidget of time, so can't say none of them. The kid, unfortunately for him, has not learned a thing about pocket passing yet in 2 years. You can pocket pass without running, not the reverse.
Right now we have an Ohio kid in Cincinnati. So.
Yeah, I know.
But anyway, I'm just saying.
He was raised in Ohio also.
Exactly. I mean,
but he is actually from Cleveland, if I remember right, or near Cleveland.
Yeah, he grew up. I mean, I see the pictures all the time. He grew up a Browns fan, but damn, I mean, bless their hearts. I mean, the last Browns team that I can remember that was just really entertaining was the Bernie Kosar, Ernest Biner, Webster Slaughter.
Absolutely.
Again,
James,
But anyway.
James Houston sacks Rodgers 3 times and Hutch 2.5. That would be nice. Lion King, we will see if there's a real NFL narrative. Rams versus Seattle with Detroit Green Bay winner in playoffs. And James Burgess says, 100%. Sit the kid. There's no upside. I think our chances of making the playoffs have gotten just a little bit slim. I don't see the Rams beating the Sea Chickens. Hate to say it, but the Fudge Packers are looking good.
I personally still think the Bears are going to take a beat.
Wait, let me address this because Valerie Bordeaux, he still has no O-line. When you got to rely on lazy eye Jenkins, you're in trouble. Jenkins left the game in the first quarter.
Yeah.
That being said, any given Sunday, someone can beat someone. It doesn't matter. We've seen the Texans beat somebody again. Come on now.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us picked the Texans that week.
No.
Nor should we have. That being said, let's get on to the next subject here. Jets are backing QB Zack Wilson to quote Coach Saleh through hell or high water. What is everybody's take on this, Shannon?
Like I said, I don't know the whole quarterback carousel this year. I mean, I can remember what over a year ago, Mike White made my Bengals look terrible, and then I don't know. I mean, they did draft Zack Wilson #1. So that's kind of a hard thing not to just start him, So that's my peace of mind right now. So that's the only thing I could think of. If there's any more to add, I can't think of it right now. I'm sure I will later, but
Gotcha.
All right. Well,
I feel like it's hard to move on from first round QBs, but if you don't protect the dude, because they don't really have a stable O-line, because their O-line is banged up all the time, then you move on from him. If you do get an O-line, maybe get some guys in the offseason, you keep him, give him one more shot. But it's a really weird situation with the Jets. It's a lot of turmoil. That's all I have to say. And nice.
Yeah.
All right. So we got a few comments. Mike Clamer says we ain't losing this one. Patty Grimes says Mayfield playing for a contract. Valerie Bordeaux said, yep, he's out on injury too. Man, people are getting their comments in faster than I can click on them here.
Bang.
I don't care. A QB can run against anyone, but when you go against the problem in Hunt, you're going to be hurting after. Just a great game overall. Patty also says Texans almost beat Philly, Chicago, and almost beat Philly again. Anything can happen. Brian Three Cushion, yes, I did bring up Chuck Hughes in my article. Chuck Hughes actually had his heart attack, and they were still performing CPR when he entered the ambulance. He was pronounced dead at the hospital, and the team didn't find out until they hit the locker room. And there it is. Richard Head, Zach Wilson just needs to quit football and go do what he does best, banging moms. James says, I think it's best for both parties. New York Jetland is to part ways. Zach needs 2 years of sitting and learning. The Jets need a now quarterback. If he stays, they'll rush him back and anger fans, etc. And Valerie, you're absolutely right. Why wouldn't he back his first round draft pick? Patty Graham says Chicago drafts C.J. Stroud with the 2 pick.
I don't think they draft a quarterback.
I don't think they will either. I think they're going to draft either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter myself.
Yeah.
Lion King, Seattle beat a third-string Ram QB. Stafford was out, and they barely won. Baker Mayfield is playing for his future. Valerie says, I hope not, Patty Grimes. And Brian Three Cushion says, yes, I remember. My great-uncle was team captain. That was bizarre. And that is wow, James. That's a plus 100. I didn't know you had family that played.
No, it was Chaplin.
Oh, team chaplain. I thought he said captain. A chaplain. That was bizarre. Okay. So he had to say the prayers. I thought he said captain. I was like, whoa, that's cool. Sorry, my eyesight's even worse than I thought. That being said, on to the next subject, gentlemen. Thibs mocked Nick Foles by pretending to go to sleep on Saturday's game. Now Dakota is saying, who's that? A despicable reaction both times, in my opinion. What does the panel think, Will?
You hit it on the nail on the head. It's completely and utterly inappropriate and immature by Thibodeau. Look at your surroundings when you're a defensive player. You see a guy who has to do this just to get attention that he's not right, and you mock him. Wrong place, wrong time. And also, if I'm Brian Dable or an NFL coach and I saw one of my guys do that, I drag him on the sideline and be like, what the hell was that? You're sitting out 2 quarters or a half next game, because that is inappropriate, immature, and just down wrong place, wrong time. And I think I wish he got fined for it, because he needs to be taught a lesson for immaturity like that.
Yeah, I agree. Shannon?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Will said. I mean, it's just when a player is, I mean, Thibodeau is a top draft pick, and I don't agree with some of these players have been pampered too much, and they think they can get away with whatever. That's my opinion.
Richard Head, if the Bears are smart, they would draft O-line to help Fields out. They did draft O-line last year, but they just did it later. They do need to fix that defense. They need to fix the trenches on both sides of the ball. And Valerie kind of agrees with what I said. They need to work on D-line. They decimated it this year at Richard Head. No, I have not heard from Dom, so we're going forward without him tonight. If he shows up, great. I sent him the link. I've been waiting for him. Richard Head says, I think people are too sensitive. I love the trash talking and excessive celebrations. Bring them back. I don't mind excessive celebrations on a great play. But when you make fun of a player when he's injured, that's different.
Right. That's what I was saying. I agree.
And James Burgess, Thibs is setting himself up to have a rougher time in the league than necessary. That kind of thing gets karma'd sometimes. Absolutely.
Oh,
just ask Juju Smith-Schuster.
Imagine if Foles was as hurt as Hamlin, there would be an uproar. There should be a fine. I agree with that as well. Absolutely. And Steve Bauer says, I'm glad we didn't draft KT. I can't stand him after he quit in the middle of the combine saying he showcased enough. I agree with that too. He did the 40 time. He did the 3-cone drills. He did all that. He did one of the workouts and then walked off the field. That being said, we're to our favorite part of the show, boys.
All right.
It is time for the weekly Pick Ems. I got the full slate of games here. On Saturday at 4:30 p.m., we have the Kansas City Chiefs traveling to Las Vegas to face the Raiders. Who you got, Will?
Chiefs.
They are 9.5-point favorites. Shannon?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'll go with the Chiefs. I would hope the Chiefs would lose and the Bengals could win to help them. But right now, the way with the game, the Buffalo Bengals game, it don't really matter now. So I'm going to go with Chiefs.
KC, and we have a clean sweep, boys. I got Kansas City. Then we got the Tennessee Titans traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 6.5-point favorites in this game. Who do you got, Shannon?
Well, I'm going to say it'll be a closer game. I don't think it's going to be the 6.5 spread, but I'm still going to go with the Jags because I still think they're kind of feeling it now. You know what I'm saying? I know the Titans defensive guys are starting to come back, but I just, but Henry does kick butt in Jacksonville. That's like Titan Stadium South, but I'm going to go with Jags.
Well, okay. Well, you go ahead.
I got the Jags by double digits. I don't think Dobbs can do enough.
Right. They got Josh Dobbs starting, and Henry may be out still. He's questionable.
Yeah, if Henry's out, yeah.
Ken Ballrick says Jags. Michael Huck says Jags for the playoffs. Brian Three Cushion says Jags. James Burgess says Jax has been bawling since the Detroit game. Kitty goes meow. Wow.
Yeah, really.
Keegan Eckert says Fansville. And the Lion King says Jags. And now we are... I'm going to skip that one for now. We got Tampa Bay traveling to Atlanta. So we got the Buccaneers versus the Fail Cants. Who you got, Shannon?
Yeah, Bucks.
Well,
Buccaneers.
You know what? I want an uproar. I want things to shift. Nah, it's Bucks.
The Foul Cants, no Bucks.
I couldn't even say the name with a straight face.
I agree.
Next up, we got New England taking on Buffalo in Buffalo. And Michael Huck says Tampa Bay. Burgess says Bucks because someone named Tom. Lion King says Atlanta. Brian Three Cushion says Tampa Bay. Keegan Eckert says the Tampa Chumps. My dad even says Tampa Bay. All right, New England versus the Bills. Will.
Bills are going to play motivated. Bills.
I agree, Shannon.
Yeah, Bills.
Yeah, I think so too. You gotta remember, because even if you guys don't play the game at all, guess what happens? It goes by win percentage.
Yep.
So the seeding would stay the same.
It would.
Bills would be 1. Chiefs would be 2. Bengals would end up 3.
Yep.
At this
we're 3 now. Yeah, we're 3 now. So, I mean, hey.
And we got Bills. No. An emotional Bills team kills New England. Bills. I'll take Bills. Belichick's dark magic won't work this week. All right. Next up, we got Minnesota traveling to Chicago. No Fields. They're starting Nathan Peterman. No O-line because Tevin Jenkins is still hurt. Man, I'm going to start us off. I think Minnesota wins with the practice squad.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
And Lion King comes on and says, Bills for the Gipper. It's actually Bills for Damar. Brian Cushion says, Minnesota. Valerie, who is a solid Bears fan, says Minnesota. That's why she defended Fields earlier. But I don't care. We can let her.
Right.
Bills is going to get Petrasha out of there with a boot in his ass. Hell yeah.
He should have been
And
young.
my dad says the
Come back.
Vikings. The Vikings. I agree. The Vikings are going to win.
I almost said that too.
I got the
Yeah.
Vikings.
Michael Hutt,
Yeah.
Vikings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got a clean sweep on the panel. Next up is Houston at Indianapolis. Tie. I got a tie. Second tie of the year.
I
The
do
same
too.
two teams.
I do too.
We're going to see Sam Eilinger, Matt Ryan, and whoever else they can throw out there that can stand up and almost throw a football.
Yeah, I've got a tie as well.
Oh Lord. Yeah. I'm not gonna go.
Egan
tie.
Eckert says Houston. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Wait. Let's have that happen. If Houston wins and Chicago loses, Valerie, you're good. You could take Bryce Young. The Bears have had the number 1 pick.
Exactly. Yeah.
Houston for Val, Mike Huck says.
Who you got, Jim? I've got a tie as well.
James Burgess says tie. I'll take it based on the fact neither team will score in fear of losing draft position.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that, but I'm gonna go Texas.
Patty Grimes says Houston. Valerie says hell no on the Bryce Young thing. King SJ, which is my buddy Steven, he says, evening guys, sorry I'm late tonight. Steven Bauer, Bills will win that. New England fires Bluto after the game. No, demotes him back from coffee getter to pencil carrier.
Mm-hmm. He'll still be there, but he won't be doing what he's doing right now.
Now we got the New York Jets flying down to Miami, who doesn't have Tua still. So we got Teddy Bridgewater versus the New York Jets. Neither defense is playing good. James Burgess says, hey-o, SJ. Patty Grimes says, both teams keep kneeling.
Tie. Y'all said tie the last game. I'm going to go tie this game.
You're going to go tie this game. All right. Will?
Jets.
Jets? I got the Jets winning too. My dad says Jets. And James Burgess says, I'll take the Sea Mammals. New York Jets are toast. Lion King says the Jets crash and burn. I got a Fins. Jets. And Dolphins. James Burgess says +1 for the tie pick. Oh, got to skip that one because I got another fan on the panel. Okay. Cleveland at Pittsburgh, which rounds out the rest of the 1 o'clock games we can talk about. Who you got there, Will?
I think Pittsburgh. I think Tomlin's going to shock people and actually end with the 500 record.
They'll be above 500 by 1.
Terry Hoffman says, no on Shy getting young. I don't want Hutch or Houston being responsible for ending his career. Pittsburgh, Cleveland. Valerie Bordeaux said Eagles for some reason. Browns, Pittsburgh, Steelers. Yeah. My dad says the Squealers. Yeah, the Schittsburg Squealers. They squeal when they're crapping.
I agree.
James Burgess says Tomlin never has a losing record. He wins by sheer will this week. I think he'll get out there and put a helmet on and run the ball if he has to.
I don't believe Tomlin's ever had a losing record with Pittsburgh either. So,
no, the worst he's done is 8-8.
Exactly. So, I'm going to go with the Squealers.
And
Who
that,
you got, Jeremy?
I took the Steelers too. I don't like Cleveland.
I don't either.
And James Bridges says he damn well might. Valerie calls him Pittsburgh. King SJ responds, "Hey, yo, James Burgess." Next up, we got the LA Chargers traveling to the hapless Denver Broncos. Their draft stock improves. Raise your hands if you're taking Denver.
Yeah, I think it's unanimous. I believe, even with the people on the
anybody in the chat taking Denver this week? Post it now. Moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, nobody's taking Denver. Then we got the good game. This is the first real matchup we've had in the whole thing here, I think. New York Giants at Philadelphia.
Yeah.
DC 8091 goes, "I am just kidding."
I've got. Is Hurts playing or we don't know?
Don't know. He's still questionable.
Hmm.
Denver to get Seattle out of the top 5.
I'm going to let one of you two go first.
Oh, okay. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles win because they're still trying to get the number 1 seed. They got to put pressure on Dallas.
I agree.
Yeah.
I actually agree with that. Go Philly.
DC 8091 says, "Go Lerner. Giants win."
Yeah,
Philly.
I'm going to go Philly.
And Valerie
I got
says
Philly.
Philly cheese steaks for the win. Michael Huck says no Hurts, Giants.
Yeah, I got Philly too.
Okay. Arizona, who are getting 13.5 points this week. That tells you what they think of Arizona. They're getting 2 touchdowns on the road facing San Francisco, Brock Purdy, and the massive defense they have. Who you got? Will?
San Fran.
Shannon?
San Fran.
I've got San Fran too, and I might put $10 on Cliff Kingsbury to be on the first thing smoking Monday.
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
San Fran. Nope, it's either the 49ers or the Cardinals there, Dad.
He going Rams anyway.
He's going Rams anyway.
James Burgess says, "Arizona, San Fran, is there a mercy rule in the NFL?" Steve Bauer says the 49ers. King SJ picking San Francisco. Arizona might cover that spread. I don't think so. But anyways, San Fran. And Patty Grimes says AR upsets the 49ers. Woo!
Wow.
That's a bold statement there, Patty.
Yeah. That's true.
All right, next up. The game that could mean everything for my Detroit Lions. The LA Rams taking on the Seattle Sea Chickens. Both one's playing for a playoff spot and one's playing to get us into the playoffs. They're being the Detroit Rams. I want the Rams to win.
Yeah.
Shannon?
I want the Lions to get into the playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Seattle's the better team, but I can't stand Seattle. Give me the Rams.
Especially since they didn't hand the ball off to Marshawn
Lion King says Zebras 21, Seattle 17, NFL narrative. And DC 8091 says, I love LA. Brian Three Cushion says the LA Clams. Michael Huck says the Rams. Valerie says Seattle. 49ers have to have a bad game before playoffs. Sadly, Seattle wins. Detroit only gets the joy of screwing Green Bay. Rams. This is not a biased pick much. Rams by 3. Stephen Bauer says Rams. Baker is playing for a job, and that is a valid point. LA.
Mm-hmm.
James George says Detroit Rams repeat. Now we're up to everybody. One of the most hated teams in the NFL going up against one of the stupidest mascot names ever. We got the Cowgirls versus the Foreskins. I mean, the Commanders. I mean, the Redskins. I mean, the football team. Oh, yeah, the Commanders. Who you got, Will?
Cowboys.
Shannon?
After the Commanders brought out Major Tuddy this weekend, I'm going to go Cowboys.
Oh, boy. A hog wearing a military helmet and calling him Major Tuddy.
Yeah, that says it all right there. Yeah.
I'm taking the Cowgirls.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Because Sam Howell is the starter.
Yep.
Hail to the Redskins. King SJ says the cow plops. James Irvin says Du Bois, Major Tom disapproves of Tuddy's ranked. Patty Grimes says the Cowboys. You got to remember, the reason why I say Philly's going to beat the Giants is they're trying to keep the number 1 seed. If they win, it puts the pressure on Dallas to win.
Right.
And if that happens...
What happens if they both win? Eagles get it?
Yeah.
No, because Eagles lost last week. They both have 3 losses. So it goes by the point differential on the heads-up play, and Dallas has the edge right now.
Damn. That's messed up. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so they went from the number 1. They could go from the number 1 seed to the 5th seed this week.
Ugh.
Damn. They got hope Dallas.
King SJ, but hope the stupid mascot team that wins. DC 8091 Redskins, they will always be.
Yeah.
Wins.
It's hard to not say
James
that.
B.
It's hard to not play it.
All right. Now we go back up and we say it's to be determined. So we don't know if it's going to be played Sunday or Monday. We have Baltimore at Cleveland. Who you got, Will?
Baltimore at what? Cleveland?
Or Cincinnati, excuse me.
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
What the hell?
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I'm taking Cincinnati as well. Shannon, it's your team.
Oh, yeah. You know who I'm picking. Cincinnati. All day, every day.
Valerie, about the Washington-Dallas game, nobody wins that game, including all NFL fans. Keegan Eckerd, Foreskins, Cowgirls are going to look past them and regret it. Valerie says the Ravens. Brian Three Cushion says Cincinnati. Huck says Cincinnati. King SJ says Cincy. Keegan Eckerd says Cincy. Cincinnati for Patty Grimes. DC 8091, his second team. Baltimore says everyone in the cigar lounge. Cincinnati. James Burgess says Cincy. Burrow is becoming a beast. No, he is a beast. Think about this. Last year in 2021, between the regular season and the postseason, he was sacked 71 times, including 12 times against the Titans when they beat them in the wild card.
Kid's a freak.
Yep. He is. His first name is Joe.
They gave him a bionic knee. He's the new $6 million man. But that's
I hope so. I hope they did. I wish I'd give him 2 of them.
And James Irvin says, true that. Becoming is the wrong tense. Is. Next up, we got Carolina at New Orleans. Who you got, Shannon?
I'm going to go Carolina because I like the way they're playing right now.
I'm taking Carolina too. Will?
Carolina, we need to end on a high note this year.
Yeah, I think if you guys win, I think Steve may be able to keep his job.
He should.
And he should.
He should.
That being said, we're on to the Sunday night primetime game of the week. Detroit at Green Bay. Who you got, Shannon?
Green Detroit Lions.
Green Detroit Lions. Okay, thank God. Yeah, I was like, I was about ready to boot you from the show. No, just kidding. No,
And I was going to go
seriously.
Detroit. Yeah.
The only reason why I can see why somebody outside of Detroit would say Green Bay is because, they after we dismantled them and then they had another bad loss the next week, they rattled off 4 in a row to get to 8-8, just like we went 6-2 over the last 8.
Yeah.
Now think about this: 1-6 to 8-8. How big of a turnaround is that?
That's freaking impressive. I mean, it really is. I mean, I'm impressed by both you guys, and as poorly as Green Bay started out. I mean, if the Vikings wouldn't have been so hot, who knows?
Well, Brian Three Cushion says Lions. Valerie Bordeaux, Lions all day. Fuck the Packers. I got you.
Give me Detroit as
Lions.
well.
Yeah.
Detroit Lions. It's not just Ford down the field, but Ford down Lambeau Field. Michael Huck says, with a shot of whiskey and a toast, Bobby Lane allows us Lions to win. Lions by defensive line sacks. Steve Bauer says, Lions beat Rodgers and the Packers and the refs.
I hope so.
Let Green Bay make Rodgers cry. And DC one just says, hey, fuck Green Bay. Let's go kick some ass. Lions have new weapons since we last met Emperor Palpa Karen Rodgers. Karen has not seen our problem. Actually, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in his last press conference, I didn't notice it while he had his helmet on, and he didn't take it off on the sideline the entire game. But in his presser, he actually has the same haircut he had from back in 2010. It's a clean cut. The man bun is gone. Holy shit, he looked like a human being again instead of a guy that sold stolen catalytic converters to recycling centers.
Did he break up with his a voodoo girlfriend or something? Because that's what I'm wondering, because he was clean shaven.
Cheers, Mike Huck from DC 8091. But I love that idea. Bite that man bun off. No, I wanted Hutch to hit him so hard that it fell off.
Yeah, well, he ain't got to worry about that now. But yeah.
And, from the way he reacted in the presser after we beat him in week 9, I can't believe we got beat by that team. That has resonated in this locker room. They're mad at that. Then he comes out clean cut, normal, non-DMT loaded Aaron Rodgers and says, yeah, the Lions, they've been coming around. They're not the same old Lions now.
He did that just to kind of soften the blow.
Yeah, he's trying to make sure he doesn't get killed.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's.
Valerie says he's looking for another victim girlfriend. DC 8091, Hutch will make his leg his new man bun. Yes, with kneecap soup. James Burgess, I don't think the Lions will ever forget that shit from Karen. BNL, you got it. That being said, that's all the games, boys. The only thing we don't know is if they're going to do that makeup game between the Bills and Cincinnati. It's in the air. There's 2 options for them. They can either give them all a 3-day rest and have them play it either Thursday or Friday night and push the playoffs back a week, or they just forfeit the game. It doesn't count towards either team's record, and then it goes by win percentage for seeding and for divisional.
When that would just put everything the way it is, basically. So
at Valerie Bordeaux, awesome.
Because it's Bengals.
Here's Valerie. Val, I gotta say, that one deserves a star. I gotta get it. Lion King says, Chicago will build around Fields and rise from Hollis Hall to compete in 2024. We will rule the North in 2023. King Decker, did anyone see that fans are calling for Skip Bayless' job for that tweet he sent out? Yes, and I agree.
Mm-hmm. Should be.
anytime you put the game ahead of the health of anyone.
Absolutely.
And she goes, "Ooh, I get a sticker, LOL." Yes, you do. Make that too. I'll give you one for that one too. Winning percentage, just throw it away. I agree. Patty Grimes do a coin flip. Yeah, because if the percentage comes down the same, then it's a in-conference record, then it is out-of-conference record, and then it's heads-up play. And then at that point, like if it's in the division and both teams played each other twice and it was a split 1-1, that's when it comes down to the coin flip. That's the last option.
Mm-hmm.
And DC 8091, Skip Bayless should get fired for all the dumbass shit he says. Absolutely. So how about that, boys? We ran through 5 subjects and all the games in under 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to say to everybody in the chat room there and everybody here, Happy New Year. May your New Year be blessed. Please keep your family members close, as we've seen by many people around us during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
You can't take life for granted.
No, sir.
I don't care how healthy you think someone is. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
And that game Monday night proved that to everyone.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
James Rivers says Skip sucks in general. That was just him making it easy for all us to see. And Steve Bauer says, guys, I feel bad for T. Higgins. He's taken a lot of flack when it wasn't his fault. Absolutely. Valerie Bordeaux, you're getting a star for that one too. You got 4 gold stars today. Most of the national media needs to be fired. They all say dumbass shit. Brian Three Cushions says, thanks to you, Smoke. James Rivers says, Happy New Year, one and all. Every day we get another as a free gift. Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And for those that were watching, and if you wasn't watching, Monday night, that took me back. My dad says, I didn't hear about that tweet, but I heard Diggs trying to rally the troops, telling them that we have to focus while they were loading Hamlin into the ambulance. Absolutely. He was trying, but even he couldn't hold it back anymore. At Valerie Bordeaux, yes. Well, I want to say thank you to my sponsors, A1 Tire and TNT Auto Sales in Cucaulin on Old Cucaulin Road, the A1 Tire Shop on Broadway in Bay City, and the A1 Tire, which is the home store on Genesee in Saginaw. Come see us for great used tires at great prices and great prices on new tires too. TNT Auto Sales has some great cars. We have about 10 cars for sale. All of them are mid-range priced used cars, medium to high mileage, of course, because you don't get great prices on used cars right now unless they got a little higher mileage than usual. But they all look really good. We've got 2 Ford Fusions, 2 Chevy Sonics, Ford Fiesta, and the Ford C-Max Energy Hybrid. That little bugger's cute. It's got that wine burgundy metallic and nice rims. I put all 4 of the brand new tires on it, so I know they're good. And it gets 88 miles to the gallon.
Damn. If I didn't live so damn far away, sounds good.
For 8,000, and it has 150,000 miles for it, and it's a 2008. That's not bad.
No, it's not. Like I said, if I didn't live so damn far away.
And Keegan Ecker, anyone see the video of Diggs trying to get in the hospital and security wasn't letting him in? And then Diggs said he's a Bill and they let him in. Actually, it was the news reporter from ESPN that works out of Cincinnati covering the team. He had to go up and tell security, yes, that's him, because he wasn't in uniform. He was in street clothes. So they didn't recognize him because, without that number 14 on a jersey, they're not going to recognize him. So he vouched for him and said, yes, that's Stephon Diggs. That's one of his best friends. Let him in, and they did. So kudos to the reporter for realizing what was going on in the background while he's trying to report the news about the situation at the hospital. And I can't imagine what that team was going through, because I've never been in that situation with a team. But I can tell you from the parent standpoint, when you hear about CPR being administered to your child, there's a hole that opens in your chest that can't be filled. You don't know what to do. You're frustrated. You're scared. You're angry. You're crying. You're miserable. The one thing you're not is happy.
No.
So,
Absolutely.
and at that point, all you can do is put it in God and the medical staff's hands and pray for the best. That's it.
Yeah.
And my heart broke when I saw her go into that ambulance.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all whining about, oh, they got to call the game. They got to do this. We got to do that. You know what? The rules were in place. There is a rule book for every situation that the NFL refs have. And they went to the rule book. It was a major injury. Give the teams 10 minutes and then tell them to get back on the field for a 5-minute warm-up and let the game continue. That's their job. That's what it says in the rule book for any major injury. There's nothing in there about if someone has a heart attack or somebody almost dies. There's nothing in there for that. At the time when the coaches met 10 minutes later when they were supposed to take the field for their 5-minute warm-up and they convened, kudos to Zach Taylor.
Yes.
For handling it with class and dignity. And anybody that thinks that T. Higgins didn't feel remorseful for something that was out of his control, you didn't see him bawling his eyes out standing there.
Yeah.
The coaches did the right thing, told their players, screw the game. We're going back to the locker room.
And I agree.
At that point, the refs have to do two things before they can call the game. They have to call the NFLPA, make them aware of the situation. The NFLPA then goes with their little board and does their decision. Then they have to call the commissioner and get his decision. And the two have to agree. If there's an argument, it takes longer. The fact that at that point, it was 9:45 when they were supposed to come out for the 5 minutes, and they decided they were going in the locker room. And by 9:50, they were probably on the phones. 9:55, they got the answer from the one. By 10 o'clock, they got the other, and it took them 10 minutes to get back out there to say, hey, the game is called. So everything followed what it was supposed to do. There was nothing wrong with what the officials did. They were following the rule book that they had. And James Burgess says, inspired decision-making, no one's head was right for the rest of the night. You're absolutely right. I mean, if I was a coach in that situation, I'd have said the same damn thing. No, we're not playing. I agree. If it was my team and my player that happened to, I'd have taken a forfeit. I'd have walked off the field even if the other team took the field, but neither team took the field, and that shows class, dignity, and great decision-making.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in the Bengals organization and the Bills organization over the years, I can go back to when Andy Dalton was playing and they won a game against the Ravens, the last game of the season, and got the Bills in the playoffs. And all Bills fans, all the Bills Mafia donated to Andy Dalton's organization that he was, and we did the same thing with, Mr. Hamlin. And
let's see. I'm trying to think of who. Oh, yeah. There was Ryan Shazier, AB, Antonio Brown, Reggie Brown, and now this, right? That's the four major injuries on the Bengals field.
Yeah, that is. I mean, a lot of people forget about the Hines Ward where he dislocated the punter's jaw, but I can't remember where that game was at.
That was in Pittsburgh.
but that was at Heinz Field at that time. That's what it was. Not a sure stuff. Yeah, but
I'm
but
saying
yeah,
at the Bengals stadium, it's been
yes,
4.
yes, it has. That's 100% right.
Tua was injured, not at Bengals. He was injured in Miami.
No,
right?
it was at Cincinnati. It was in Cincinnati. So that's 5.
So it's 5 now because I named the other 4.
Yeah, he was in Cincinnati. I mean, when his fingers seized up like that.
Yeah, but it originally happened in Miami and just wasn't caught.
Yeah, that wasn't that against Buffalo in Miami where he actually got hurt, and then
they brought him back in, and he looked like he was punch drunk, still trying to play.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, this has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. It was a pleasure talking with all of y'all. Will, you got any final thoughts tonight?
Nope.
Shannon?
Prayers for Mr. Hamlin, his family, friends, and everybody else out there. Football's just a game, y'all.
Exactly.
Because it says to be determined, it's looking like it's probably going to be Baltimore versus Cincinnati for the final Monday night game of the year.
Yeah. In Cincinnati. It's going to be an emotional time for them.
Yep.
Coming from one Monday night. I mean, the hell, it wouldn't surprise me if they don't. I mean, being a Bengals fan, I picked them earlier. But it's just a week.
A rivalry game.
But
rivalry games are different.
Yeah, I know. And I think, in my heart, I believe the Bengals will win, but it's going to be emotional being on a Monday night when they just played a Monday night against the Bills with all that was going on. But anyway.
Well, that being said, my final thought is the same one I say every day that I'm on here. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. This has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. Have a great night, everybody. And until Friday, have a great week.
You too.